I want to go for higher studies abroad. So previous year I had applied to Germany, but due to this COVID situation, I couldn't go there because I had some confusion with when will the class start actual and they don't have option for deferrals. So this year I am planning to apply for US universities. So I just want to know about some things which I'm confused about. And I am from my major is in metallurgical and materials engineering.
Uh-huh.
So I want to go in material science part of that. So the basic problem is that I have done some internships to have a research background. The problem is that the research internships are all in the field of conventional metallurgy, like composites and metals and high entropy alloys and all those. But when I'm seeing the profiles of the professors abroad, like I checked a few universities, most of them are working on a different area, like biomaterials or electronic materials or something that I'm not very familiar with. So the problem is that when I'm mailing them, I cannot show any experience that I've done work in this field.
So let me ask
So
you, you are graduated, you are at home right now, correct?
yes, sir.
Okay. I'm assuming the job situation is not that good over after
Uh,
you
um,
graduated, or did you
yeah,
had a
yeah.
job?
I have an offer from Infosys,
Uh-huh.
but means it's a mass recruiter, so it's an IT company.
Right, right.
And currently, I'm doing a remote internship at IIT Ropar. So like
I mean,
kind
what
of
happened to
simulation.
what happened to your job then
They haven't given an offer till now, but probably I'll get the offer in Jan.
in
The,
January? Okay. And when are you planning? So I think you are planning for like planning to go for your master's or whatever in August 2021, something like that, right?
yes, 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 yes.
Okay, okay.
For fall 2021.
But let me ask you, why you want to not do a job at Infosys and go for a master's? What's the reason?
Sir, the thing is that that I want to go for a research career in R&D, but the problem is that I had to take the offer from Infosys because the placement scenario for metallurgy is not very good in any of the NITs. And problem is that they also are like very reluctant to take students from metallurgy background because like mostly they prefer mechanical students because we
Who?
can have a expertise with mechanical and like it's not a
Who?
very specialized field.
No, no. Who prefers it?
So like we had companies like JCB and Linde and all those, so they are preferring mostly mechanical students
No, no.
and
But I
the
said
companies.
But you said you have a job at Infosys, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what I'm saying why you are not thinking of joining the job but going to a master's? That's my question.
So because like I have studied 4 years in metallurgy and I have interest in metallurgy,
Okay, okay, okay.
so I
I
don't
understand.
want to go into IT companies.
Okay, okay. So it's basically your interest. So let me ask you, then why you want to go for a master's and not for a PhD program then?
Sir, that is the problem that for PhD I have to mail professors because I cannot like apply to random colleges for that because one college is I figured that for one college it takes around 7,000 to 800 rupees 8,000 Indian rupees to apply.
Hmm.
So I am planning to mail the professors first, and if they reply to my mails positively, then only I will apply to the college. But as I told you that the research backgrounds that I have that are mostly in the alloy part or the mechanical metallurgy part. But I want to go into a field that is like more closely related to material science. Like people are working in biomaterials and electronic materials, or even in some phonons and all those part, the solid state physics and all those. So I want to go, and most of the processors I checked, like I checked UI UC yesterday, and most of the processors are working on that part only. So it's tough to actually land a PhD there. So I'm planning to use my masters as a bridge between that part.
But then you said right in your email you don't want to get a loan, right? That's the biggest thing.
Yes, that is the
And I
reason. So
and
I
yeah,
was
and I don't suggest also, but you need to. But let me ask you, you said you had an offer at Germany where you had a full scholarship.
no, actually the thing is in Germany that they have almost zero tuition fees. So I had to give only the living cost, and the living cost in Germany is also comparatively very low. Like I was hardly 5 to 6 lakhs per year.
Hmm. Okay, okay, I
So
understand
it
now.
was yeah.
Okay, okay, I understand. So, if that is the case, my suggestion to you is very simple. Of course, I'm glad that you said, you want to do what you love, what is your interest is that's very important. I would then definitely tell you don't take a loan, that's for sure. I don't suggest anybody to take a loan because, nowadays the biggest problem in US is people who have taken a loan, they don't have jobs. And most of them are having a problem, especially in core sector. So, but what I will tell you one thing is in US, in Canada, or any of these universities, if you apply for masters, you have to pay from your pocket. Nobody gives a scholarship. Okay, the chances of getting a scholarship is almost zero. You can, let me tell you, if you are able to pay from your pocket, you can get admissions to Cornell, you can get admissions to anywhere. That's easy. As far as you have a good GRE score, you can get it. That's not a problem. But they are not going to give you scholarship. Only people who apply or commit for a PhD programs are the only ones who get scholarships.
That
it's
is
it's very it's very rare. So if that is the case and you are still undecided the area and all that, my advice to you is apply again to Germany if you feel that is better, and then from there you can then apply to US for PhDs and so forth. That is your best bet.
okay. So the problem in Germany is that they don't have good work like job sector is not good for students who are not from the EU. So I was
It's the
preferring
same.
US and Canada.
It's the same thing US also right now. Right now the situation in US is the same because you need visas. I mean, you have OPT and everything, but right now, I mean, I'm talking about after COVID. It may change, but right now the situation is not that, it's not that easy too. But again, what I was trying to ask and understand from you, do you need, are you going to go for a job or you're going to go for a PhD? But you are saying after that, I want to go for a job in Germany and because I am not from EU, I can't find a job. So again, you are contradicting yourself. You need to understand what you want to do first.
Sir, I want to go for R&D sector only, but the thing is that for
No, no, you see,
paying my
you need to understand what is your plan here. Are you want to go for a job after your master's or you want to go for a PhD program after your master's? That's what I'm trying to tell you.
so I will go for PhD. If I
So
get a
so
PhD, I'll go for PhD.
so that's what I'm saying is if that is the case, I think going to Germany and then from there applying for a PhD program to US or something could make sense for you. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, sir.
Because in US, see, here's the thing. You can come to US and there are actually, to be honest with you, don't think too much about this research area versus that research area because there are professors here who works in every research area in US. Okay, and you will be able to do a lot of things in your life as you move on. So as far as you get into a good school, into a good PhD program, go ahead and join it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The important thing here is if I was you, definitely I would not take a loan and I will try to apply for a PhD program and commit myself to make sure that I get into a good university, into a good PhD program. End of the story. And for that, whatever I need to do, I need a good GRE score, I need good recommendations and all that, I will work on that.
Okay, sir.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, because you will, as I said, in US you're not. Let me tell you very frankly, in US you're not getting scholarship for masters. That's for sure.
Mm, mm,
Okay, so question is, what are you going to do now? Because you're not going to pay from your pocket. So only choice you have is either go for a PhD program in US, or number two, either go to Germany and do masters and then apply for a PhD program in US. Because after PhD you have to do a job, right?
mm,
Right. So in Germany you can't find a job. So what are you going to do? You don't do PhD in Germany. You go to somewhere else where there are jobs. And US is the place to come for PhD and do jobs, because the opportunities will be a lot much more,
yeah,
right? Just like me or any other person who came here. So my point here is, and the third thing is, just join Infosys and do your job then if it doesn't work out. Because right now, the reason I'm trying to tell you here right now, make sure you don't do a mistake that if Infosys is offering you a job and you don't take it, don't do that mistake.
no,
And
no,
if
no.
you,
I'll definitely
yeah,
take it.
exactly. So don't do that mistake unless and until you have something in your pocket. Let's say, for example, if you have an offer from a university with a scholarship, then you can say to Infosys, but don't do it before that.
So another thing I was thinking of that, will it be difficult to get a PhD this year? Like most of the people I know, my batchmates, they have deferred their admissions. So people are
Everybody is
telling
done,
that
right?
this
I mean,
this year will be more tough.
actually, I would say I know a lot of people. I have spoken to a lot of people who have either deferred, who are doing online, or who are going to apply next year again. So it's the same situation because nobody is coming physically, is not able to come.
Mm,
So you are not telling me something very different. That's what I'm saying. So there are only three scenarios. Either they have deferred, either they are doing online. So there are people who got admission at TU Delft. I spoke to a couple of students and they are
okay,
doing online.
okay.
And I don't think that's a good idea because you are paying tuition and then you are not going to school, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's other thing. And the third type of people are who are saying, okay, I'm going to apply next year. And let me tell you, in US, the way it works is if you are applying for a PhD program, uh, let's say if you have already spoken to a professor, that may help you. But it doesn't mean that if you apply for a PhD program, you can still get an admission by the graduate committee and get a scholarship. It's not always like the professor, you have to contact a professor. It's not always like that. Do you understand my point?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you apply to UIUC and you don't know any professor, doesn't mean you don't have a chance because the graduate committee sees your application and they say, hey, he's a good student, let's take him. But let's say if you already spoke a professor and they like you may have a better chance, but still the graduate committee needs to approve that. Okay. So I'm saying, see, it's all depends on if you have a good GRE score. If you have a really good GRE score, a good
Sir,
recommendation.
another thing is that I checked most of the universities. So this year they are telling that the GRE score is optional. So should I, like, I haven't given GRE the previous year. I had given only TOEFL because Germany doesn't need a GRE.
Yeah,
So
I heard
should I
that too.
give that
Yeah, I heard
should I
that
give
too.
GRE or
I mean, if it is optional, then it's a good thing, right?
yeah, but will it be an advantage to have a GRE score or is it not necessary?
I mean, if it's not mandatory, they are saying it's optional. I don't think this is like extreme. There is a requirement, to be honest with you. I mean, I can't tell you the answer, but if it is optional, it's optional. You can't. I don't think they will discriminate between you and someone who has given GRE because it's optional.
Okay, sir. So I will divide like I will apply two German universities and two universities for PhD.
I would
So I
say,
think it will be safe.
yeah, I would say is to be honest with you, if I was you, I would directly apply for PhDs to universities if I'm very confident that I want to do a PhD. But if you are still not sure that you want to do PhD, I will then do what you are doing.
Okay, sir.
Because let me tell you very frankly, the problem is you can get an admission to any school in any place in the world, but I have seen problem really comes what you do after you graduate, because in unlike in US, a lot of places, then you are not able to find a job or something. But as I said, for master students in the core sector, even for PhDs, they have much more options because they can go for postdoc and all. The situation is very similar in US now.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
So don't take this decision in rush. Just and I also know people. I have a friend, to be honest with you, who graduated from some IIT. He worked at Infosys for 1 year, and then he went for his PhD and at Michigan. So there are people who do that too.
Okay, sir.
So just give a thought. Don't rush into things.
Sir, and another doubt was selection of universities. Like, um,
Yeah. So in that case, I will say do a good mix of top universities and not so top universities. So A, B, C. Divide A, B, C. Okay. So let's say A is MIT, Stanford. B is let's say Rice and Texas, Austin, and C could be some others. So two, 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 so that you are in a safe zone. And to be honest with you, it's very common for students to apply after they give GRE to at least 7 or 8 universities. It's very common. It's very common.
okay, sir.
And then it depends on how confident you are. You can say, okay, I'm going to apply A, I'm going to apply 3, B, I'm going to apply 2. But if you don't are not confident, you can say, I'm going to only apply A 2, B, I'm going to apply 5. Mix it. Depends on your confidence level. I can't tell you that.
Okay, sir.
Any other question, Anwar?
Sir, if it will be helpful if you could give me some feedback on my CV.
I think your CV is good. To be honest with you, for an undergrad, that CV is fine. As I said, tell you, your CV is fine. It all depends on the GRE score. That's number one. Your GPA. That's number two. GPA is very important. Your reference, your letter of recommendations from professors. That's
Okay,
number
sir.
three. So these three things are most important. But GRE is optional. I would say GPA, your letter of recommendations. So I think your CV is fine. You can do some research at IIT Ropar, but remember the recommendation letter from the professors from your university who have taught you subjects or something. Those are more important than someone where you have done internships. Remember that.
Okay, sir. I'll write it.
Okay.
From my college professors.